There's been a lot of number twos criticising Linkin Park over the last few months, but none of that matters because the band have returned to where they belong with a number one in the standings. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We're almost 25 years after Linkin Park's debut at number one, and we're back at number one with the Emptiness Machine topping multiple charts in the UK and around the world. And you know what? I've got to say congratulations to Linkin Park because they've received a lot of hate, a lot of unnecessary hate and criticism over the past few months because they want to return, because they want to continue their career, because they brought in a new lead singer. And you know what? It's been downright disgusting, some of the things that the band have been accused of, especially Shinoda, I guess he was one of the guys that created it, the co-creator, so to speak, of Linkin Park, by the way, which Chester Bennington was not. He was not a co-creator. And they've been accused of basically betraying their friend, trying to erase their friend, even though it's the exact opposite, that they're still talking about Chester to this day, that they're bringing him up at live concerts. And the band has been made out as if they have betrayed Chester, or they've erased Chester, or forgotten about Chester, or given up on Chester. Honestly, if we want to break it down, Chester was the one who gave up on them, but I'm not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the number one. So, yeah, the Emptiness Machine topping the charts in at least three standings in the UK this week. And for me, I think the song was pretty good. I enjoy it. I also enjoy the lead singer. I think it's worthy of being number one, especially in an era where music isn't that great. I'd argue that you don't have to have a great song to be number one, but when I heard it, I was pretty impressed, and I thought, you know what, that deserves to be at the top.
Yeah, to quote my GOAT himself, the show must go on, as Vince McMahon would say. And you know what, you look at Paul Walker, see when he died, they didn't pull the plug on Fast and Furious. There's numerous other examples to make.
Right? Slipknot.
Chester Bennington, right?
Paul Gray died with Slipknot, and
yes, John and Paul.
I remember I was at Download, and instead, I mean, they paid tribute to Paul Gray, and everyone loved it. I don't remember Slipknot getting a lot of criticism. I don't remember Slipknot being told that they have to, start over again or change the band or whatever. I mean, yeah, they got a little bit of hate when Joey Jordison left, and I think he has actually passed away now. Rest in peace.
Yeah,
I believe he passed away after he left Linkin Park. I know some people weren't happy because they believed, he was a very unique drummer, and you can't really be Slipknot if you replace him and bring someone else in. But I mean, at the end of the day, look, bands sometimes change members. I'm not saying I'm a massive fan of it. And normally, I don't like when bands change members, but I think in circumstances where if someone tragically passes away, then I don't see why the band should not be allowed to continue. I get it, sometimes you get a fallout or whatever, and maybe the band split, people go on their separate ways and whatnot, they go and create different bands, but I mean, if a band's successful, if a band's doing well, if there's 7, 8 members of a band and one happens to unfortunately pass away, should the other 7 guys, not have a career? Should they just stop existing and stop creating music for the rest of their life? Should they have to give up on the brand and the name that they've created for decades because something really sad happened to one of their members? Or are they entitled to, rest and mourn and then move on? I think that they are, and that's what Linkin Park's done here.
Yeah, you're entitled to move on, right? It's like, at the end of the day, see this Linkin Park group, it's a job for everyone. They can't just, I get it, right? Shioda's made a lot of money, man. Realistically, he's set for life. I'm sure Emily Armstrong's set for life as well. They've made a lot of money doing loads of things in the music industry.
Well, I'd never heard of her really until...
Yeah,
I don't know if she's really made a lot of money.
But they've made it... Then the average person is what I'm getting at. But see when you're in a job, right? The average, the 9 to 5 life. See when someone, dies in work or they kill themselves, the job continues. And see, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what way Chester Bennington died, right? The only way I would say that it wouldn't be right is if the rest of members of Linkin Park plotted together and killed Chester Bennington, and 25 years later they all got out of jail and then they continued to make music under Linkin. But that didn't happen.
Well, that's a stretch,
No,
man.
exactly, it's a stretch. But this is ridiculous.
You're right. That is a ridiculous stretch. I mean,
yeah, you've got to see with all
yo,
these,
if that
Jamie Bennington, that's what he thought was going to happen to him when he went to the concert. So you've got to close all these avenues off. But it's a disgrace. It's pathetic. You know, you're right, Chester Bennington's the one that gave up on everybody else. You know, I don't know why we live in an era where suicide is fucking bowed down to like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yeah, I'm not going to say a bad word about Chester Bennington. I really like Linkin Park. Probably in my top 5. Some great ass songs, you know, to billions across the world. But it doesn't change the fact that it doesn't make Chester Bennington a great guy for what he did, and it's so unfair on every other member of Linkin Park to hate them, and you know, and not want them to make music. It's not Shielda's fault. It's not Emily Armstrong's fault. Is she ever going to be as good as Chester Bennington? No, because I think Linkin Park's heyday has gone and went. But for this song, I thought the song was pretty great. It sounded like a song that belonged in the 2000s.
Honestly, man, I actually sounded a bit like Chester Bennington was singing.
Well, I can't say that. Jamie Bennington will be at the door, but
No, but I think that this Emily Armstrong person actually sounds a little bit similar, despite being a female. I think, and this is not a dig at Chester Bennington. He never had the most masculine voice, so it's like maybe and again, it's like you can't win if the band bring in someone that they think sounds a little bit similar to Chester. You know, oh, you're trying to replace him, erase him, this stuff. If they bring in someone who's totally different, they'll be like, oh, you're going in a totally different direction and you're changing up for what you had in the past. And I mean, they can't win. But anyway, I believe this is their 7th number 1. Previously they had Burn It Down, Waiting for the End, What I've Done, Numb, One Step Closer, In the End, and now the Emptiness Machine. I mean, out of the 7 number 1s, where would I rate this? I think it's better than Burn It Down and Waiting for the End.
I couldn't even tell you what Waiting for the End sounds like, so automatically it's above that.
I think In the End and Numb are obviously a step, they're above that. I mean, One Step Closer is pretty good. What I've done, you know what? I don't know. I would put it above Burn It Down and Waiting for the End. I think they've got better songs, to be honest, that never made number 1. I think Crawling's a good song. I think it's better than some of these. I definitely have it above Burn It Down.
I like Bleed It Out as well.
Bleed It Out.
But what I would say is, this isn't a dig at the band. I mean, I'll back them to the hilt over the rest of the Benningtons at this current stage.
A lot of their songs did sound the same, I think.
No, they did, and I think similarity, right, is what you've got to do here. I think you've got to replicate the past, because that's what made them successful, and that's what's got them to number 1. If they completely changed the 5, it wouldn't have worked. But I would be surprised, I'm not going to say shocked, but I would be surprised if they do a song better than the Emptiness Machine.
You think the Emptiness Machine's as good as it gets?
Yeah. We've just said that it's like the 4th best Linkin Park song of all time, potentially. In that
I don't know if I'd go with that. I'm saying out of the ones that have been number 1.
Out of the number 1s, right? So for me, I think if they can surpass the Emptiness Machine, it's almost like, well, fuck, what a job they've done.
Well, let's have a look at their albums then. So Hybrid Theory, we'll just go off will we go off UK charts or US charts?
Whatever you want to go off.
Probably go off the US charts, because UK charts are...
Nobody cares about the UK charts.
Although this video literally was about them getting number 1 in the UK. Yeah, you know what, we'll just go off the UK charts, screw it, because we're in the UK. Right, so Hybrid Theory was 4th in the UK. Probably their best album, I'd say. Their debut album, I think that's as good as it got.
Yep, I would say so.
But obviously, I think it's because your first album, it's a lot harder to get to number 1, because not really many people know you. Meteora then got number 1 in the UK. Sometimes you can argue what you get in your second album is a reflection of how good your first album was, and I can definitely see that. So.
Yeah, it's like the second album actually could suck, but the first album carries it.
Yeah, I mean people will buy the second album if the first album was good. So Hybrid Theory 4, Meteora was 1st, Minutes to Midnight was 1st, and honestly, man, I think there was a decline straight away. I think the first 2 albums, say Linkin Park, are like GOAT tier or whatever, and then to me it's...
I think 2007 was good, but I think anything after 2007 is...
But Minutes to Midnight was number 1. 1,000 Suns, I believe they had a song in FIFA that year, that was number 2.
don't remember it.
Living Things returned back to number 1 in the UK. The Hunting Party was number 2. One More Light was number 4 in 2017, the last album released. And then we're going to see what From Zero will do. I know there's been a lot of hate and a lot of criticism. People are not happy they're continuing the band. I think From Zero will be number 1. I think it's a big deal. Linkin Park coming back after 7 years. I think this will top the charts.
I think it will as well. I mean, if it doesn't top, it'll be close to the top. And I think they deserve it. I mean, I haven't listened to any of the other songs.
Well, the lowest they've had's number 4. Like,
yeah, so good numbers, but it's just a shame that the return has been masked by Jamie Bennington and, you know, soon to be his mother, his grandmother as well. It's just, you know, I just don't get it. Jamie Bennington would not, well, I mean, Chester Bennington would not want this.
No, I mean, let's look at One Step Closer. So, that's a song that you like. 24th in the UK, 75th in the US. That was the first single released. And I think that just goes to show you that that's a case of just not many people knowing the band, because, I mean, come on, there's no way in the week that One Step Closer came out, there was 74 songs in the US better than it.
Oh, no, I agree.
So, I mean, so if you look at the songs that were released in the first album, you've got One Step Closer. Let's go with the UK numbers.
It also helps songs if they're associated with movies. Like, you know, that What I've Done is so associated with Transformers.
Yeah, so One Step Closer, 24 in the UK, Crawling, 16 in the UK, Paper Cut, 14 in the UK, In the End, 8 in the UK. So, I mean, it just goes to show you that they are getting closer. Like, the more songs they release, so, I mean, is what it is. Anyway, guys, I think that's where we're going to end it. Linkin Park back at number 1. Nice to see the band get a wee bit of praise, because I know they've got a lot of criticism over the past few months, and I'm sure Chester Bennington's family's not happy about this. They'll probably have something to say about this as well, and, you know, they'll be complaining, but, I mean, the band...
know, I don't know why he done it, Chester Bennington, but could it be his family? I mean, because I know that's I don't even think it's a massive reach, like, but his family's not exactly the greatest family.
No, they're not. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's where we're going to end it. Till next time. Peace.